Hey, and welcome to the Quad City Podcast. This week, Jason, Josh, and I talk Thanksgiving, leftovers, and everything involving the weird foods your family love during the holidays. We dive into this weekend's message and talk about the totality of the Rise and Fall series, as well as the letters to the 7 churches. Anyway, time to jump in. We hope you enjoy.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Happy Monday, everybody. Sorry, that was quick. We just jumped right into it, everybody. I'm a little off kilter.
Normally we have a little 5 minutes to get our minds right. Today we're just jumping right in.
We are. Let's go.
Doesn't make for good radio, but Jason looked at me like a deer in the headlights. Like, am I supposed to say Happy Monday or will you? Happy Monday, everybody.
Obviously, that is the voice of Mr. David. Nate is off today, so I'm playing host, and we pulled David in to jump into our conversation with us. Nate has been so good, though, at like preparing the banter stuff. He's really, I think, helped. We usually come in and he's done it already.
He's got some ideas.
So it's been really nice. When it used to be me, Jason, and Brendan, it was a lot of time spent before said podcast to determine what we were going to banter about.
What are we talking
What
about?
are we talking about? So he's really upped his game there for us. So
thanks, Nate.
Yeah, thank you, Nate. We appreciate you jumping in and being that voice for us. So today the question is, obviously Thursday is Thanksgiving. And so what are you guys going to do? And then, David tossed out, hey, is there something weird your family eats that maybe most people would go, well, that's strange. Why do you do that? So
I do have one weird
Okay, let's
thing,
go.
right? Everybody, your mind first goes to the can-shaped cranberry.
Classic.
But
yeah,
but everybody eats that. But there was growing
everybody
up.
doesn't eat that, buddy.
Wait, what?
No, I don't eat cranberry. It's weird.
You don't slosh the little thing and it still has the canned rib things on it?
No.
I just thought everybody did. Did you not do that?
Of course I did.
Okay.
No, let me follow up before the follow. Don't forget what you were going to say, but like, do you just not do any cranberry?
No cranberry.
Is it the flavor or is it you don't like jelly? Like,
I just don't. Why do I need that with turkey? I don't understand. Like,
It is classic.
I don't do it.
It's classic Thanksgiving.
do you do mint with lamb? Like,
No.
is that a thing? No? Okay.
I don't eat lamb though a lot.
That's fair, yeah.
I'm not like I'm like, hey, let's eat lamb.
Hey,
He's got a Werther's original.
exactly. He just stuck candy in his mouth. Now he sounds like okay.
It was a Hershey nugget, thank you. Not a Werther's. I did have a Werther's today, but it had an inside that was like gel like. It
No,
was
thank
not
you.
a hard candy Werther's. Anyways, what do you eat that's weird?
Okay, I didn't eat it, but at our family Thanksgiving, so we would travel up to my grandparents' house in northern Kentucky. So I need to set the context. We're in northern Kentucky.
Yeah, they're different.
Simon Kenton, right up there, and every year my grandfather would have oysters at Thanksgiving.
Casserole?
No, just straight
Just
up
raw oysters?
in central Kentucky. Like this is not
Was he a hot sauce guy or just plain raw oysters?
No. In Kentucky through and through, which is why it's meat and taters land. Like we don't, and yet for Thanksgiving there would be
We had oyster casserole.
There'd be a
Done with that.
just slurp those things down. Like I don't know what it was. The only time we ever ate oyster, anyone ever ate oysters my entire childhood was then. That was
At
it.
Thanksgiving.
At Thanksgiving, it would be my grandfather. I don't even know if anybody else ate them.
Was he from the Cincinnati area?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just south of Cincinnati.
No, but I mean, like, did he make his origins in Cincinnati and then came across the river?
Good question. I don't know.
Because my grandma, some of their family was from, they did oyster casserole. I always thought was odd.
Weird.
I always remembered like there's like a broccoli casserole and an oyster casserole, and there's another casserole too. So I just had to be real careful when we were going in. I had to make sure. I was like, can you identify which one is the weird one?
Because you don't do like any seafood, right? Like you're not a fish guy.
Not huge. No, it's ugh.
I just the face that you just made. I want the the oyster slurping sound that
gross.
Jason, he ruined somebody's day. Somebody listened to this and went, I'm done.
So what about you? You're from Florida area.
right,
you'd expect East Coast, North, but from originally New York. But what? Anything weird?
So it depends on how you define weird. We have some unusuals.
Weird.
Okay,
unusual.
That is a little weird. Every holiday. So this was my grandfather always pioneered this, and he was from Jamaica, Queens. He's in a kind of primarily German area where he lived in Queens. But every holiday, no matter what holiday it was, you start the day off. The first thing you make are hors d'oeuvres, and they're always pigs in a blanket and then cheese and crackers. Every single holiday, no matter what holiday it is. So
now, I'm down for that. We'll do that. We'll do that. That'll be. I'll be doing that for Christmas. Pigs in a blanket for Christmas.
Yeah.
Super Bowl party for sure.
Like sliced cheese or like cheese whiz?
Oh no, sliced cheese. Like a cheese platter with pepperoni.
Understood.
He always had to have
charcuterie
pepperoni.
boards before we called them charcuterie boards.
100%. Yeah.
Well, this is like the poor. Like
that's why I asked. I'll be honest. That's why I asked if it was cheese whiz.
Could
like,
be,
don't knock that cheese in a can, homie.
Fitz's grandfather, they didn't have that.
No, but he did have cheese balls. He was a big cheese ball fan. The cheese ball
Who
crackers.
doesn't love a cheese ball?
It's
like that'll be our Christmas. We'll for sure do a cheese ball Christmas.
Yeah.
But he liked a bunch of different mustards. That was the big thing for him. He wanted to have the pigs in the blanket, and we still do the pigs in the blanket. I'll do it Thursday morning. I'll get him ready. But he liked a spicy mustard and like a Dijon mustard and like an old German mustard. Yeah. That was it, man. That was us.
Yeah. So besides the white side of the family was the oysters. Casserole is weird.
Why you gotta say it like that?
Because I'm going to give context. I'm going to give context to the other side, the black side of the family. It was chitlins, which were gross. I was like, man, could you all not cook those?
At holidays?
Thanksgiving. No, only at
just
Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
We go to the black side of the family, and we had chitlins.
Little deep fried pork intestines.
That makes perfect sense in Southern
black culture. Exactly. That's why I gave you context. Okay, I gave you context. White side was this weird oyster casserole, and then the nasty chitlin. I'd be like, man, I'm going out to the porch. And so the porch was where you smoked. So it was a smoking porch. So everybody would be cold because inside's hot and you stick into the plastic on the couch. But so I would just have to endure sitting out there with aunts and uncles smoking and laughing because I was like, man, they smelled so bad.
Not great. So your family didn't clean them outside? They cleaned them inside?
No, they just cooking them though.
Oh, just cooking them. They do stank a little bit. Yeah.
I would always go, why are we doing this? I can't imagine this is a Thanksgiving.
How many of our people who come from California and out west have no idea what chitlins are?
Well, they're pig intestines, for those you don't know. If you are out west, though, you eat it too. You just eat it in menudo. That's what?
Well, no, menudo's got stomach in it.
Yeah, stomach.
Intestine.
Yeah, lining. Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's the same. If you don't clean it well. So if they have Hispanic friends, that's what you was eating. You didn't know that, but you was having piggies too. Yeah. So that's the point. That was the thing. When we didn't go sometimes, I was always real. I was like, oh man, yes, no stinky pig. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So we're not doing that. Tradition didn't get carried over.
So you're not doing chitlins for Thanksgiving this year?
No.
What are you cooking up?
We're not even doing turkey. My wife is like, I don't want turkey this year. So we're just doing ham. We got a pig. We actually got a pig. We got a quarter of a pig. Me and a couple other people went in on it. And so I have a ham. I'm going to just cook a ham. I was like, I don't want to do turkey. I was like,
are you doing like a fresh ham?
This is like they raised the pig, they cut the pig, they smoked it a little bit.
Okay, so it's already smoked.
It's been smoked, so I'm gonna cook it. So we'll see. I'll let you know how it works.
I bet it'll be great, man. That's awesome.
What about you? What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
We're pretty traditional with the Thanksgiving. My potatoes are my kids' favorite food. Whole stop. Period at the end of that. So we'll do whipped potatoes. We'll do sweet potato casserole.
You mean just mashed potatoes?
100%.
It is. Specifically, the mashed potato is my kids' favorite food, but it has to be.
What's the difference? Why'd you call them whipped
That's
potatoes?
what I'm wondering. I whip mine too with like a mixer.
Yeah. Well, when I think the difference
half?
between mashed potatoes, I think the difference between a hand mash and like a real, like you're either whipping them with a mixer or a standing mixer, or you're doing the thing where you press them through a sieve. That takes too much time. I don't do that. So I just beat the heck out of them with a stand mixer. And they like
a little half and half, a little milk or something.
We do sour cream. We do a ton of butter and we do sour cream in the potatoes, and that's just my kids' favorite food in the world.
I do a lot of butter too. The amount of butter that gets used in my house for Thanksgiving.
I bought 2 extra pounds of butter just to have for Thanksgiving. So we do that. We do sweet potato casserole. I make stuffing, but my wife and I are the only ones that eat it. So I make less and less every year. It's stuffing where I come from, even though it's dressing where other folks come from. And that's it. And we'll have a turkey. Last year we did a turkey and a ham, but we just had too much food. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, same for us. We're very traditional. By that, I mean my wife cooks and I eat.
Nice.
I do deviled eggs. That is the one thing I always make.
yeah.
I gotta have deviled eggs.
That is traditional, is that not?
Yeah, not for everybody.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
deviled
I didn't
eggs gotta make my Thanksgiving.
We typically have deviled eggs.
Didn't even think about that as being outside the norm because it's so normal
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah. So maybe that's not a maybe
That's
that's a.
that's pretty normal. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Nana will have deviled eggs.
She will.
She'll come up the stairs with some eggs.
Baby. All right.
Broccoli casserole.
All right. Well, we are in our last week, this past week of our rise. No, we're not rise.
It is.
It is.
But this is really the 7 letters to the churches.
Yep.
Found in the book of Revelation. Just as a spoiler alert, not if you maybe are a good Bible reader, you recognize that we went this week to the church at Laodicea, which is the last one, which means that there was one in between Sardis and one in between Laodicea that we actually didn't get to. There was just some reasoning for that. Some of our programming, the value of our Vision Sunday that we did in November kind of messed us up a little bit. And this week we're starting Luke, and Luke is all about Christmas and Advent. And so we needed to start on November 30th. Mm-hmm. So if you do your homework and read the letter to the church in Philadelphia, it reads a lot like the letter to the church at Smyrna. And so they're very, very similar. And so we thought of all of these, and maybe that would be the one that we ended up missing. So that's...
And we did have a handful. I had a handful of people come up to me at Pastor's Point this Sunday and say, hey, what happened to Philadelphia? And that's what I said. Hey, just go back and you can lay Smyrna and Philadelphia beside each other. And Jesus is addressing some of the same issues in both of these churches. And so we thought if we're going to skip one, that'd be the one to skip.
For sure. So there you go. That's our piece of it. So
ultimately determined it would be more helpful to have a vision cast
100%.
before we got into the new series than it would be to have a functionally very similar message.
Yeah, 100%. So that's just FYI for those of you who were wondering if we skipped one. We did, and it was intentional. It was not accidental. It was very intentional. So
could you imagine if that was an accident?
This week, so we finished off. Here is the last letter to the church that we have, Laodicea. So David, quick highlight. What do you think of the weekend's message?
Man, again, as a nerd, if you've ever heard any of me speaking ever, I own that. I loved the historical context because I did not understand the wordplay that Jesus uses when he talks about the water and why that would matter and how it would resonate with that people. So I thought that was really, really super helpful. But, oh my goodness, you said something as we got toward the back third of that message that every time you said it got like a from every room that I was in. And I'm trying to recall it. I didn't think about it before we got here. So
no, you're good.
Like,
was it the line he repeated just around the supplying our needs? Was that the line? You can't.
I think it was something to I remember. I'm going to paraphrase you and I'm going to butcher it.
That's okay.
But it was, we can't, essentially can't with a straight face say we have everything we need and then say, I rely on Christ for everything, right? Like it was that one. And that's the thesis of the message that goes around it, right? And every time that clicked in people's minds in both of the services that I was in PV, I think for people really audibly had an immediate response to that. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I was off this weekend. I was away. I was marrying a kid for my first youth group. And so I actually got back just for the 11:15 service here in Prescott and just went to church. And I'd read the sermon and actually had commented a couple things to Jason beforehand. And so, but the just conviction around, and somebody else sent a question, like this is the one to our people that is the most convict. I think obviously we started with, some of the not Laodicea, but the Ephesus is a danger of who we are maybe as a church, but if you're going to ask, and Joe asked that a few weeks back, hey, what would Jesus say to us? It would probably be really similar to this.
The self-sufficiency piece is so.
It's us.
It is. It is a whole lot of us.
It is 21st century. In our context, in Prescott Valley, we pull ourselves up from our boots. That like you're reading all that. It is like what we take pride in.
For sure.
To your point, if actually somebody doesn't do that, like they're judged and looked down upon.
Yeah.
So
and judge themselves quite often,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, I should be able to live up to whatever this standard is. Yeah.
Yeah. The line that I put, it was just if I'm not that bad, Jesus doesn't need to be that good.
Yep.
That's it. If I actually don't think I'm that bad, Jesus doesn't need to be that good. And so it's okay. So that was the line I wrote down in my Bible, just as a thing to kind of remember. Also you're talking, I went to Proverbs 30. It's the line of like, don't give me too much, don't give me too little. Just give me what I need. I know we've talked about that before, but it jumped out of my mind again.
Yeah.
I don't need anything. Like that actually is the posture that Proverbs 30 is. Hey, just don't give me too much that I do this, but don't give me too little that I got to steal.
Yeah.
Just give me what I need, Lord, each and every day. And so to live with that proverb is a good, helpful thing. So, Jay, would you, as you're studying, reading, is there anything that you, as Nate always says, if he gave you 10 more minutes, would you have added
He
anything?
took them this week.
I did.
Yeah.
I took a few more. Went a little extra. Yeah. I think we talked about it a little bit. I too nerd out on the history piece, and if I had 10 more minutes, I would have probably just went 10 more minutes of B-roll. I'd love to have just shown our church what we got to see and where we got to go and the things that we got to, like, we had some great footage of these amazing amphitheaters, the roads there, like they literally have uncovered, I pointed out on the map the two dotted lines of the two major trade routes, and we went off to the edge of the city, and it says, they've got a sign there that says, this is the trade route that takes you over toward Ephesus, and this is the trade route that takes you over to, and you've got like 40 feet of it uncovered, and then it just goes back onto the dirt. Wow. And you're just like, they could just keep digging, and they would find all the way there. I mean, it's just this amazing marble road that goes that direction. And like, I would have just loved to have been able to show some more of that. Like, the wealth of this city was just remarkable. And so it was just really cool. So if I had 10 more minutes, I'd probably geeked out on that a little bit more, but
yeah. So, it was really fun. Again, obviously having go in there, knowing so much more of the context of the Hierapolis into the Colossae to, Laodicea. So, well, let's jump in. We had a few questions, a couple around maybe some of that. And so the first one, from Sharon, thanks for sending in, was, again, they've now seen all of Ephesus. They've seen this series and the things we got to do. We did go to Philadelphia, so we have that B-roll as well. We went to Hierapolis, so we got to see that and got to see some of those things. Even though it wasn't a church of the letters, it's still a church that had tremendous value, and there's mention to it in the New Testament, as you told us. One of the questions was, would you ever consider leading a tour to Western Turkey? Have we thought about that as a church, kind of doing that? So
I haven't thought about doing that. There is value in it, obviously, and I wouldn't be against it, but I hadn't thought about planning that one. Again, because several of the churches, there's not much to see.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia. Even Sardis, Smyrna.
Which one of them still a mound? It's just a
That's Colossae. It's
Colossae,
just a mound.
Thyatira is the one, Jay, that doesn't have much either. Thyatira.
Yeah. Really, like I said, the two that are really worth going is Ephesus and Laodicea. Smyrna was pretty cool. Their
Pergamum was great. They had that was the one on top of the mountain.
Yeah. Pergamum was good. That was with Zeus. Mm-hmm. There's 3 or 4.
Miletus ended up being really cool. It was
Miletus. Yeah. We didn't even talk about Miletus, but
we did Acts, but
yeah, that was great too. There is some cool stuff there, and yes, I'd be willing to go back. I'd go back and lead a tour, but that hadn't been high on my priority list. One of the things we have talked about is putting together a trip to Israel. And so that's been kind of thrown around as some conversations that we've had. And primary reason for that is thinking about we're going to be spending a lot of time in the book of Luke. And so we're going to be spending a lot of time in the geography of the Promised Land, of Galilee and Judea. And so obviously it's been a little tumultuous in Israel right now, so it's not been a great time to go. But I would love to lead another trip to Israel. We've done that a couple times.
Sweet. So yeah, maybe be on the lookout for maybe something. That
If there's any noble benefactors that want to see that happen, you know what to do.
So Adam sent in a couple just thoughts. First was just around the production person who was actually with us as we did these tours for the churches in Revelation. So that was Dan, our Prescott Valley.
Give it up for Dan,
production guy. Yeah, yes. So he captured, that B-roll and spent all that time, and he put these videos together. So Adam, that was him. So you asked, hey, at some point, some formal recognition. So boom, there's your recognition that it was Dan who kind of pulled all of that together. So he went with Jason, myself, and then
and about got arrested. Where did he about get arrested? He almost didn't make it through customs coming
Germany.
back.
Yeah, it was Germany.
Yeah, so
he had to take all
it was because of all the
camera
gear.
tech.
Yeah.
Germany, they have machine guns when they're standing there. So Adam says, hey, he also said, I'm assuming you're some type of Churches of Revelation tour. We were. How much time did you get to spend at each site? Is there something that really surprised you at one of the sites, or that you learned that you'll take away from the trip? So anything?
Yeah. Again, a couple of the surprises was Laodicea was the biggest surprise. I didn't have high expectations for Laodicea. I didn't know what I didn't know. But when I got there, I mean, I was like a kid in the candy store. It was a blast. It was so much fun just being able to go and see that.
He was exhausting. He Disney walked the whole time. So I was like, we're not in a rush, man. Why are you running? I just like, bye. I'm going to take my time and just enjoy this thing. I'm going to walk around and look at stuff. He was Disney walking.
I bet we walked 5 miles that day.
Yeah.
Easy.
It was big. It was big.
It was a lot. Yeah, that was the biggest surprise.
Did you guys get to go up to Hierapolis too? And
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
We climbed up to the top of Hierapolis, got to see somebody was dead up there. Which guy was it?
It was Timothy, wasn't it?
No, Philip.
Philip. Yeah.
Tradition has it that Philip is buried in Hierapolis. So it's cool to kind of see that.
And it was hot. That day was
really hot. It was a hot day.
We did have a guide.
Yeah.
He was probably pushing 70. I bet he was close.
He was not
and
young.
we thought he might die on that day. I mean, it was so hot, and we're going up there. But again, it was so nuts how many people were getting into these hot springs on this super hot day. I mean, it was pretty crazy. But they did. They were coming in. That was the day, that footage that you got to see. Dan got to pull out the drone and
at the bottom of
Hierapolis,
which
to show all the
real dicey. We weren't allowed to do that anywhere. We did that in Colossae because nothing exists there, and then Hierapolis went down to the bottom and flew the drone.
Yeah,
that's cool. Man.
No drone in Ephesus.
No,
there's none of that allowed.
Yeah. The other thing was Colossae. That was a bit of a disappointment. So if you go to Colossae today, you drive up this mountain and it's called a tell, a Tell, and a tell just means a big giant hill that has archaeological ruins under it that nobody has done any digging for. So nobody has come in there. No archaeologists have started to uncover it. It's just sitting there, a big old giant hill. And you can go up and you can walk across the top, and there'll be 2 or 3 places where there'll be like just the edge of a column is sticking out, or a piece of marble that has a little bit of cutting, so you know it's not natural. And it's like, but nobody's done anything, and it's still just sitting there. So that was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, it's wild. If you Google the Colossae tell or tell of Colossae, it's literally just a sign that says Colossae and a big mound of dirt.
That's it.
And we walked up top of it and stood up there, and we were only there 15 minutes.
Yeah, because there's nothing to see.
Wow.
Yeah. So the answer to the question, you asked how long we were there. It depends. Like I said, Colossae, we were there half hour. 20 minutes. Enough for Dan to get his drone out and go all the way around the thing. But then Laodicea, we were there, I don't know, 5-6 hours probably.
That's quite a while.
We were there for quite a bit.
Hierapolis, we were there 2 or 3, 4 hours. We were there for quite a while too, like first half of a day.
Yeah.
Or back half of a day, I can't remember.
Yeah. Ephesus, we stayed for a couple of days.
3 days.
Yeah. So we
went into the park 3 times.
Yeah. And part of the reason was because we did the most amount of filming there. And getting Jason to sound decent on camera takes a minute.
Well, we read all of Ephesians.
Yeah, we read the whole
which
book.
was interesting. That was that's what I'll remember. People like stopping and trying to listen to us as we're reading the Word of God out loud in the city of most people. There's some who probably have no idea what we're reading.
Yeah,
and then others who maybe knew.
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool. Getting to read that word in those places.
Yeah,
was really interesting.
A couple of big takeaways again would be the wealth of Laodicea that you could just see in the craftsmanship and in the roads. The other one was the houses in Ephesus. There's these really, really well preserved, rich people houses, and just seeing the scale and scope and the plumbing and all of that stuff, like it gave me context for Ephesus that I just had no idea about.
For me, it was probably one of the reminders is how young we are as a nation. Like we're just babies.
Yeah,
I'm walking on roads that are 2,000 years old. Yeah. Like, and the work that they, to your point, the houses and the plumbing, like they had pipes that pushed water, and again, we were pretty advanced in some ways, technology wise, but these people were doing some amazing things with less.
Yeah.
And so just the intelligence of
my guy, Ephesus was founded in the 10th century BCE.
Yeah, but what we were walking on were Roman roads.
Sure.
So again, just that reminder of like, man, they've been here for a really. And so when you're talking about places and seeing this in your Bible, it's a real place you can go put your feet on and stand in the dirt. Like I said, with the Laodicea, we stood in the dirt and took I got pictures on my cell phone. And so these are places that existed, and people had been there, and believers navigated the very same things. That's what the other reminder is. This message to this church in Laodicea is just the same message that we should hear. It's interesting, that the people of God have been navigating these things since the beginning.
And I would say, right, it's a Muslim country today, right? Mm-hmm. But you go to these, it literally is the churches that are preserved. Like what's left in Thyatira, it's a church. In Ephesus, there's a lot of more in Ephesus, but one of the big things is the Basilica of St. John that was from the 2nd century. You go to, what was the other one? There was 2 of them, Philadelphia maybe and Thyatira, that was just churches. That's all that was left. It was just these 1st century or 2nd or 3rd century churches. And
that was Philadelphia.
That's all that's left.
Church of the John, something named after John. He's a pretty big deal in Western Turkey. John's a pretty big deal. So it was a fun trip. If you ever just wanted to go, I think it's worth going and experiencing, all that stuff. And now you have context. It makes your Bible just come alive a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay, we did have one question. Oh, I just deleted it. Nope, there it is. Okay, this is from Scott, so appreciate your question, Scott. It says, great message on Sunday, so powerful. Question regarding proper contextualization of Scripture. Since historical and cultural information of Turkey, including the Tri-Cities, has been available for many centuries, why do you think the teaching on lukewarmness and standing at the door and knocking has not been taught in proper geographical and historical context? I heard the teaching as Jason described taught 50 years ago, even though the teaching was not necessarily heretical. Proper contextualization enhances the word of Jesus and makes them much more powerful.
So I think what he's talking about there is...
I was going to give context. So thanks again for the amazing message and the reminder, reminding us that Jesus' words to the Laodicean church and not to the heathens. So again, what Jason ended with, this was words to not to unbelievers, but to believers. These people were Christians. So again, for context, if you didn't listen to the sermon or maybe just forgot, we have always heard Jesus doesn't want you to be a lukewarm Christian. After the geographical description of the city, David even mentioned it himself. That's probably not what Jesus was saying. He was talking more about, hey, be beneficial. Yeah. You're not even beneficial. You're not cold. That's beneficial, and you're not hot. To your point, though, I do like lukewarm water. So
What?
I like room temperature water. I don't like cold water. Just it hurt. I like warm water. I just like I don't. It's,
Well, here's the thing. Okay, we can go.
we're gonna rabbit hole it.
I do know that singers, that's
Water
a thing.
drinkers, water drinkers, as
Yes.
it were. They just give it to you right.
Just
out
give
the
me
tap.
water.
That's
Yeah,
it. Or just
give me
pick
water.
the bottle up.
100%. You notice we were together last week. I didn't never get a water out of the fridge. I don't really care for it. So,
Same, yeah.
Anywho, but I'm with you. Fries, 12 minutes sitting out. They are just disgusting.
Awful.
No, thank you.
Terrible.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was one of them. Then the other context is Jesus standing at the door knocking. He is not knocking to get into an unbeliever's heart. Jesus is knocking to get into the church because we've shut him out. So that's the context in which Scott's question comes out of. So knowing that, he's asking, why then do we think pastors have maybe only preached what we've traditionally heard is that's a message for unbelievers, evangelists, and it's also a message of don't be a mid-level Christian.
Jesus would rather have you against him than to have you on the fence.
Yeah.
It's a great question. Can I say with all the love and grace, there's a bit of laziness in it? Again, this information has been out there for a while. Like, this is not new. I heard some of this when I was in Bible college. So it's not as if I came across some newfangled teaching that's no, but we've understood if you do historical research, and again,
That's never been easier. Good grief.
Right.
You can find out so much so fast.
exactly. But again, that wasn't always the case. It wasn't always
Right,
the case.
right.
Like most pastors 50 years ago, there was no internet. You're not Googling that. You may have had access to a set of commentaries.
Right.
Like, you just didn't have that. There's no excuse today. Like, all of this information is out there. You just got to do the work. And I think part of it is, it's my bent. When we do a series, whether it's through the book of Ephesus or whether it's on the book of James, or we do a series on the that includes First Timothy, we're gonna take a Sunday and we're gonna do a whole message just to set the context. Just to, who's talking. We did it with Romans. Who's writing this? Where's he writing to? Where's he writing from? We're going to set the scene as best that we can. And so the historical piece for me has always been a really important piece. I want our people to know that this stuff is real and it happened in real places in real times with real people. And so I think it's important to add that cultural piece to every sermon series that we do. And obviously with this, we're doing it 7 times.
Yep.
Right.
So it's information that is readily available. If you, Scott, just Googled or just put into ChatGPT, hey, tell me about the city of Laodicea, all of this stuff will populate. Like, it's well-known stuff. So it's not newfangled stuff. We just, sometimes pastors, we don't always do all the work that needs to be done. And sometimes there's a bit of an emotional thing that we can do on the other side that, like, it preaches well just to say, stop riding the fence, be all in or all out. That's a message that we can all get behind.
Right.
That's a good message. It just happens not to be good from this text.
Right.
I think that's the other piece probably is the what we try to do here, Quad City, is just teach the text for what the text says, even if it pushes against our previously held teachings from it. It just, hey, what does the text say? Yeah, I would want to preach, but what does the text just say? And let's preach that, and let's try to unpack that, and not force anything into it.
But Jesus says, if you're not with me, you are against me.
Yep.
So pick one or the other. That's a great moment to say, you can't ride the fence. You're either with him or you're against it. There is no sidecar on the motorcycle. You're either in or you're out. That's a great place to teach that message. It's not
Revelation.
Not Revelation 3. That's
Sorry, I just got a visual image of Jason and the typical illustration of Jesus just riding on a motorcycle, just the two of them.
Take that wheel, baby.
Take that wheel. Yeah. But I think there's two good, I don't know if they're good. There's two understandable reasons why that might not normally be the case. One is kind of that idea of, and you hear this from a lot of people who have a heart evangelism bent, is well, teach the gospel in every passage. Well, if he's saying I stand at the door and knock, that must mean of salvation, and so that's what I'm going to use that context for. And you see that a lot. And then maybe the other piece could be the mixing of metaphors. Jesus uses door metaphors in other places, right?
Right.
I am the door, right? When he's talking about in John, is it ask and the door will be opened, right? In Matthew. So like maybe there's this, I've heard this, it's familiar enough, I'm going to apply it in this way without, and it may be a due diligence issue, just as simple as that, of not doing the research or just going, I know what this means.
Yeah. Again, to Scott's point, it's probably not necessarily heretical.
No.
Right.
Because Jesus does say these things otherwhere.
Yeah.
It's just not exactly what the meaning of this text is. And so trying to stay true to, hey, this is what this text says. And again, not having to force it, because if you just try to teach all the text, you're going to eventually get to those messages.
Right.
And you'll get to say, to your point, get out of the sidecar, get onto the bike.
Yeah.
We're riding with Jesus.
Right.
So, well, cool. Well, we ended this series. Any big takeaways, David or Jason, just as we've kind of landed what has been not just the churches in Revelation, but also just church in Ephesus? Any big picture takeaway?
I hope our church, and I had several people tell me this is so, and it was good affirmation that, man, going over there, taking a couple of us and spending some time there and bringing that footage back and helping connect dots for people was really beneficial. Yeah. And so, it was an investment that we made as a church to make that happen, but it's paid off in a year and a half worth of content and culture that we've gotten to share. And so hopefully our church sees the value in that and feels the benefit of it.
Yeah. Far from a turkey vacation, right?
Oh,
this was a research trip.
It was
we worried, baby.
It was good.
Yeah. David, any thoughts?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. Just thinking about the idea of the church life cycle, right? All of these different pitfalls that are highlighted throughout the book of Ephesus, and then as we've gotten into the letters to the seven churches, just different ways that the church stops being the church and to look out for them, right? Forgetting how to love people. That's the one that sticks out for me the most, is when I think about talking to us as a church. There's that one and this weekend, Laodicea, of
those are for sure culturally the two pitfalls that they're the two ditches that we're running the road, that our road runs between.
And the other, Sardis, having a reputation for being alive but actually being dead, right? Those are, as I think through those pieces, going like, man, okay, it is, as my piece of the body of Christ, it is my job in the church, even if I wasn't paid to be a pastor, it's my job in the church to love people, right? To not be lukewarm in the definition that we've seen, right? And to not have a reputation for being alive, but in fact being dead, and doing my part in that and helping others to do their part in that. That is important to the life of the church. And we can all carry that same water. And so just sitting in this for so long has been really, really helpful to me. But it's interesting because I wonder, we don't have time to get into this, but I wonder for the folks who are our once a month or once every 5 weeks, right? If they were able to see that same kind of value going through the life cycle of this church with missing so many pieces in the middle. I wonder, I don't think you throw the baby out with the bathwater with that, but I'd just be curious to know what they think.
Yeah. The overall desire that I think I walk away with is just these were all written to corporate. There's no individualistic conversation, which my mind always takes as individual, but he was talking to a whole church. You're not of value at this moment. Yeah. This whole church is I'd rather this whole church, you ain't useful. This whole church is not being useful. Not just Jason is not being useful. And so as much as we individualize something, this was letters to an entire body. That's right. To your point, the church of Ephesus, this was their whole warning. And then there is some individualistic stuff at the very end, but just our danger to just really quickly make it just about us and just our cultural context. But I walk away with that the value of God's people when we say the church has been really huge over the last year and a half.
Yeah, the warnings are all corporate. The promises are individual.
For this one, yeah.
Well, for all of them, to the one who overcomes.
Yeah, I'm saying for through Revelation.
Yeah. All of them
in our study for the past year and a half.
Yeah.
He was writing to the church in Ephesus.
right.
And as much as we want to individualize it, this is everyone fight to keep the unity.
Yeah.
Everybody matters in this, right?
Yes.
So there is that. There's
Yes.
I could take that and say this is only my thing to carry, but it's not. It is everyone's. It's all of ours.
All of ours.
And we have to help each other and support each other and lift each other.
Which is
up
awesome.
in that.
Just how Jesus views all of this was super helpful. So, anything else as we're winding down, about to jump into the gospel?
Yeah, we're jumping into the book of Luke, and I'm super excited about that. This is, again, one we've been kind of throwing around this idea for 6 months that we've been talking about
maybe more
this,
than that.
maybe a year.
Yeah.
We knew where we were going after, and so we just really,
So buckle in, baby.
it's going to be great.
Chapter 1's 80 verses.
Buckle in, baby. Here we go. Here we go. So, kicking off that too, just as a reminder, is our Advent prayer, and so we're just trying to pray and be expectant for God to be moving, not in this place around this season, and so we are excited for what the next 25 days hold as we just desire to pray. So more details are on our website, quadcity.church/Christmas. You can get all the details for whichever campus you're at, Prescott or Prescott Valley. Man, just come and pray. Whether it's one day, every day, it's 10 minutes. Man, you can't make it. Pop in, whatever it is. Let's just be a people who are coming together to pray together as we jump into the gospel, to just hang out with Jesus for a little bit. So thanks for listening. That's all we got. Until next time, and see you on Sunday.
Bye-bye.